the oldest story we've ever told wasn't the beginning at all? What if an entire civilization, once thought lost, resurfaced to challenge everything we know about ancient history? Imagine a city, not merely submerged by the relentless march of geological time, but a vibrant metropolis swallowed whole, its existence meticulously documented, its secrets kept safe by the very waters that claimed it. This isn't merely a tale of a sunken ruin. It's the profound narrative of an underwater city that didn't just exist beneath the waves, but fundamentally rewrote the foundational chapters of human civilization, forcing us to question every timeline, every technological limit, and every established canon of ancient knowledge. This city, Thonis Heracleion, a name whispered in the annals of antiquity, yet dismissed as myth for millennia, now stands as a testament to the ocean's capacity to both preserve and reveal. It beckons us to reconsider the very nature of discovery, challenging the hubris of modern scholarship and unfurling a tapestry of history far richer and more intricate than we ever dared to imagine. Before we dive deeper into the profound implications of this submerged wonder, if you find yourself captivated by the mysteries lurking beneath the surface, do consider subscribing and leaving a like. It truly helps us unearth more forgotten stories. The journey to rediscover Thonis Heracleion, a name now echoing with the resonance of profound historical correction, was not without its trials and tribulations. The initial revelation, not born of deliberate search, but rather an accidental encounter, unfolded in the late 1990s. For decades prior, sporadic mentions of a lost Egyptian city, known to the Greeks as Heracleion and to the Egyptians as Thonis, had intrigued historians, yet its precise location remained an enigma, relegated to the realm of folklore and academic speculation. The renowned French underwater archaeologist Frank Gaudio, leading a team from the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology, or IEASM, embarked on a geophysical survey of the Abu Qir Bay near Alexandria, Egypt. Their primary objective was to locate Napoleonic-era warships. However, beneath meters of sand and sediment, their sonar equipment began to register anomalies, patterns that suggested an unnatural, structured presence on the seabed. The first dives were met with a sense of disbelief, then escalating awe. What began as a cautious investigation quickly transformed into one of the most significant archaeological undertakings of our time. The visibility in Abu Qir Bay is notoriously poor, often less than a meter, making the initial exploration an arduous process of tactile identification and meticulous, systematic mapping. Divers, guided by sonar plots, slowly began to feel their way around colossal stone blocks, intricate carvings, and then, unmistakably, colossal statues and architectural elements. The murky waters that had so long guarded the city's secrets now grudgingly unveiled them, piece by painstaking piece. It is as if the ocean itself was resisting the revelation, yet the perseverance of Gaudio and his team slowly peeled back layers of oceanic obscurity. The team deployed advanced techniques, including highly sensitive magnetometers and side-scan sonar, to penetrate the thick sediment. This technological prowess allowed them to create a detailed map of the submerged city before even setting eyes on many of its structures. The sheer scale of the discovery, an entire city stretching for kilometers beneath the waves, initially defied easy categorization. Many historians and archaeologists, ingrained in the established narratives of Egyptian history, were naturally skeptical. Could an entire major port city simply vanish without a more explicit historical record of its demise? How could such a significant center remain lost for over 1,000 years, dismissed as a mere legend? These questions, however, began to dissipate as more and more incontrovertible evidence emerged from the depths, revealing a city far grander and more historically pivotal than anyone had dared to imagine. The silence of the deep had preserved not just ruins, but an entire historical epic frozen in time. The initial awe of discovery slowly blossomed into a profound understanding that a forgotten chapter of history was now literally being unearthed. It was a discovery that challenged the very limits of what was considered historically knowable. Before the crushing embrace of the sea, Thonis Heraclean was a vibrant, thriving metropolis, a sprawling hub of commerce and culture sitting proudly at the mouth of the Nile. Modern science, through meticulous archaeological investigation, has allowed us to piece together a remarkably detailed picture of life in this bustling port city. Imagine, if you will, over 2 millennia ago, a city teeming with life, a melting pot of Egyptian and Greek cultures, where colossal temples dedicated to Amun and Heracles stood tall, their towering pylons reflecting the sun. The archaeological evidence brought to light, from the grand architectural foundations to the most minute domestic artifacts, speaks volumes. Divers have uncovered hundreds of ships anchored or sunk within the city's vast canal network, their cargo still largely intact. These findings paint a vivid portrait of Thonis Heraclean as the primary mercantile gateway to Egypt. The city's economic prowess was immense. It served as Egypt's main customs port, controlling all maritime trade entering the Nile Delta from the Mediterranean. Elaborate systems of canals and docks facilitated the movement of goods, from grain and papyrus exports to imported olive oil, wine, and precious metals. The sheer volume of coinage unearthed, particularly Greek coins from various city-states, underscores its position as a major international trading hub. The political significance of Thonis Heraclean was equally profound. It wasn't merely a port, it was a key religious center where pharaohs came to receive their divine powers from Amun, the Egyptian king of the gods. The discovery of numerous stelae, monumental inscribed stone slabs, including the famous decree of Nectanebo I, confirm its status as a vital administrative and religious center. These inscriptions provide invaluable insights into the legal and religious practices of the Ptolemaic period. CGI recreations based on the archaeological findings depict a city of stunning beauty and intricate design. Imagine grand temples, markets bustling with merchants, and residential areas housing a diverse population. The architecture showcased a unique blend of Egyptian monumentalism and Hellenistic influence, reflecting the city's dual identity. Statues of gods and pharaohs, exquisitely crafted from granite and diorite, some standing an astonishing 5 meters tall, have been raised. From the seabed, their serene faces still bearing the marks of their glorious past. These aren't mere idols, they are masterpieces of ancient artistry, showcasing the unparalleled skill of the artisans who once thrived in the city. Most compelling aspects of Thonis Heraclean is the evidence of its technological achievements. Beyond the sophisticated port infrastructure, the sheer scale of the construction, from massive temple blocks to elaborate canal systems, points to advanced engineering capabilities that challenge conventional understanding of the era. The navigation aids, including monumental lighthouses and beacons, guided countless ships safely into its harbors. The story of Thonis Heraclean, before its demise, is a narrative of a flourishing civilization, a powerful nexus of trade, religion, and culture, whose brilliance was prematurely snuffed out, only to be rediscovered millennia later, offering a tantalizing glimpse into a world that was far more interconnected and developed than many historical accounts previously suggested. The debate remains unresolved on many of its specific engineering marvels, but their existence is indisputable. Yet, despite its grandeur and strategic importance, Thonis Heraclean did not endure. The cataclysm that swallowed this magnificent city remains a focal point of intense scientific and archaeological debate, shrouded in the silence of the deep. What force, so immense and relentless, could have erased such a vital hub from the face of the earth, transforming it into a submerged ghost? The leading scientific theories for its submersion converge on a complex interplay of natural phenomena, rather than a single dramatic event. It is as if the planet conspired against this jewel of the Nile. One prominent theory posits a combination of seismic activity and subsequent liquefaction of the soil upon which the city was built. The Nile Delta, where Thonis Heraclean was situated, is inherently unstable, composed of loose, water-saturated sediments. Earthquakes frequent in the Mediterranean basin could have violently shaken these foundations, causing the ground beneath the heavy marble and granite structures to turn into a slurry. Geologists point to evidence of seismic fault lines in the region and historical records mentioning tremors. This sudden loss of structural integrity would have caused large sections of the city to sink rapidly rather than crumbling. The geological evidence unearthed from sediment core samples supports this hypothesis, revealing layers of disturbed earth consistent with liquefaction events. Another significant contributor, often linked with seismic activity, is the catastrophic failure of the delta front itself. Thonis Heracleion was built on an active shifting ecosystem. Gradual sea level rise over centuries, combined with a weakening substrate due to erosion and compaction of sediments, likely predisposed the city to disaster. The Great Nile floods, while vital for ancient Egyptian agriculture, would also have contributed to the sedimentation and changing morphology of the delta. The timescale of the event is crucial to understanding the demise of Thonis Heracleion. While the ultimate sinking might have been sudden, triggered by an earthquake or a particularly severe flood coupled with storm surges, the conditions that led to its vulnerability were likely centuries in the making. It wasn't a singular, instantaneous event like a volcanic eruption, but rather a tragic culmination of geological instability and climatic pressures. The question of whether the inhabitants had time to escape is a poignant one and largely unanswerable with definitive certainty. The archaeological record reveals few human remains, suggesting that a mass exodus might have occurred, or that the sinking was relatively rapid but not instantaneous, allowing for organized evacuation. Yet, the presence of intact artifacts, statues, and even entire ships implies that the end came with some degree of surprise. It is possible that initial tremors or smaller, localized subsidence events served as ominous warnings, prompting some to flee, while others, perhaps caught off guard by the speed and scale of the final collapse, were simply overwhelmed. The story of its cataclysm is not merely a scientific puzzle, it's a tragic narrative of a powerful civilization brought to its knees by the relentless forces of nature. The deeper one studies the evidence, the more one realizes the immense power of geological forces. This brings us to the core revelation: how the rediscovery of Thonis Heracleion fundamentally altered our understanding of ancient civilizations. This wasn't merely another archaeological find. It was a paradigm shift, a monumental correction to accepted historical narratives. The sheer existence of such a well-developed, strategically important city, thriving at a pivotal juncture between the Egyptian and Greek worlds, and yet forgotten for so long, forced historians to reevaluate what they thought they knew about antiquity. The possibility of such a significant city vanishing unchallenged the very completeness of our historical records. Historians are still debating its full implications. Firstly, Thonis Heracleion pushed back known timelines of civilization and interconnectedness. For decades, the narrative of ancient Egypt often depicted a somewhat insular civilization, especially concerning its early interactions with the burgeoning Greek world. Yet, artifacts from Thonis Heracleion, particularly the overwhelming evidence of extensive trade and cultural exchange, even before the rise of Alexandria, demonstrate a far more integrated and cosmopolitan Eastern Mediterranean than previously acknowledged. The presence of both Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek inscriptions side by side, coexisting in religious contexts, shows a level of syncretism and tolerance that many academic models had underestimated for this period. This city wasn't just a physical bridge, it was a cultural one. Secondly, the architectural and engineering achievements unearthed challenge our notions of ancient technological capabilities. The sophisticated canal systems, the massive port facilities capable of handling hundreds of ships, and the monumental temple constructions, all within a hydrologically challenging delta environment, speak to advanced surveying, construction, and hydrodynamic understanding. How were such immense structures built on shifting sands, and how were they navigated? The sheer scale of the port infrastructure, designed to manage an enormous volume of international trade, indicates an organizational complexity that rivaled and perhaps even surpassed that of later major ports. This technological prowess was not an isolated marvel. It was integral to the city's identity and function. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, Thonis Heracleon's existence reshaped our understanding of political geography and power dynamics in the late Pharaonic and Ptolemaic periods. Before its discovery, Alexandria was often considered the preeminent port city of this era, yet Thonis Heracleion clearly held that distinction for centuries prior. It was not just a competitor, it preceded Alexandria as Egypt's main gateway to the Mediterranean world. Its role as the primary customs port and a crucial religious center meant that any serious study of Egypt's interactions with the outside world during this time must now account for Thonis Heracleon's immense influence. The connections it forged with other known civilizations, from the Greek city-states to Phoenicia, were far more intricate and economically significant than conventional histories had depicted. This rediscovery compels us to reevaluate the entire geopolitical landscape of the ancient Mediterranean. It literally rewrote the maps of ancient influence. What began as a myth was now a tangible historical fact, challenging the bedrock of established scholarship. Even with the incredible progress made in understanding Thonis Heracleion, the city continues to hold countless secrets, presenting an array of ongoing mysteries and boundless opportunities for future exploration. The vastness of the site, extending for several square kilometers beneath the muddy waters of Abu Qir, means that only a fraction has been meticulously excavated and analyzed. It is as if we have only just begun to read the prologue of an epic novel. The full extent of the city, its complete layout, and the precise boundaries of its various districts remain largely uncharted. This raises tantalizing questions about undiscovered temples, residential areas, and administrative buildings that could further deepen our understanding of this multifaceted civilization. Perhaps the most compelling lingering question revolves around the daily lives of its ordinary inhabitants. While monumental statues and religious artifacts give us glimpses into the elite and sacred aspects of the city, the true texture of everyday existence remains somewhat elusive. What were their stories? What were their hopes, fears, and dreams? Future excavations could uncover more domestic spaces, further revealing the nuances of social structure, family life, and individual narratives. There are also unanswered questions about the purpose of certain enigmatic structures found within the city, their precise function still debated by archaeologists. Were they specialized workshops, unique religious shrines, or civic buildings unlike any we currently understand? Current archaeological efforts, led by teams like Frank Gaudio's IEASM, are continuing their methodical excavation. The pace is slow, constrained by the technical challenges of working underwater, the poor visibility, and the delicate nature of the artifacts, preserved beneath sediment. However, new technologies are constantly aiding in this challenging endeavor. Advanced robotics, autonomous underwater vehicles equipped with high-resolution sonar, and sophisticated photogrammetry techniques are allowing for more comprehensive mapping and 3D modeling of the site, creating virtual reconstructions that push the boundaries of archaeological documentation. These innovations promise to accelerate the pace of discovery and enhance our ability to interpret the buried city. Beyond questions of physical excavation, there are also significant ethical considerations. The preservation of such a unique cultural heritage site for future generations is paramount. How do we balance the imperative of discovery and understanding with the need to protect fragile artifacts from degradation upon exposure to the surface? The sheer volume of material requires careful conservation strategies, and the potential for new discoveries demands a long-term commitment to its study. Ultimately, Thonis Heracleion epitomizes the ongoing journey of human inquiry, a story far from over, reminding us that beneath the waves, and indeed beneath every layer of established history, lie forgotten worlds waiting to be revealed. The possibility of discovering even more remains a powerful motivator for continued exploration. Ultimately, the enduring legacy of Thonis Heracleion transcends the mere existence of ruins beneath the waves. It is a profound testament to the impermanence of human endeavor and the endless capacity of the past to surprise and enlighten us. This rediscovered city serves as a powerful reminder that history, particularly ancient history, is not a static, fully written narrative, but a dynamic, ever-evolving tapestry still being woven from fragments and revelations. The main historical revelations brought to light by Thonis Heracleion, its role as a dominant pre-Alexandrian port, its unique fusion of Egyptian and Greek cultures, its advanced engineering, and its challenging of established timelines, have irrevocably altered our understanding of the ancient Mediterranean. It proved that the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations was far more complex and robust than previously conceived. The city stands as an enduring tribute to human ingenuity. Its builders and inhabitants, living thousands of years ago, navigated sophisticated maritime trade, constructed monumental temples, and engineered an entire urban landscape in a challenging environment. This city story is a powerful testament to the resilience of ancient peoples, their adaptability, and their relentless pursuit of progress. It forces us to ask, what other grand civilizations lie beneath the waves, forgotten by time, awaiting their moment of rediscovery? It encourages a deeper humility in our approach to history, reminding us that our current knowledge is but a provisional truth, subject to correction by future discoveries. The silence of the deep often holds the loudest truths. Modern science has given us the tools to listen to these silent ancient voices. What Thonis Heracleion teaches us about the past extends far beyond its own boundaries. It teaches us about the fragility of civilization in the face of natural forces, about the constant reshaping of coastlines and human habitats, and about the inexorable march of geological time. It prompts reflection on our own vulnerabilities and the delicate balance between human aspiration and environmental reality. But perhaps even more profoundly, it stirs the imagination, reminding us of the countless untold stories and undiscovered worlds that still exist, both literally beneath the ocean's surface and figuratively within the vast expanses of uncharted historical periods. The story of Thonis Heracleion is a narrative of loss and rebirth, illustrating that even after millennia, the whispers of the past can emerge from the depths to resonate powerfully in the present, forever reshaping our perception of humanity's long and intricate journey. It leaves us with a provocative thought. If an entire bustling metropolis, a linchpin of ancient commerce and culture, could vanish and be forgotten for centuries, what other wonders await our discovery beneath the waves, or indeed, beneath the sands of time? Tell me where you're listening from and what other sunken cities you'd like to explore in the comments below. It leaves us with a provocative thought. If an entire bustling metropolis, a linchpin of ancient commerce and culture, could vanish and be forgotten for centuries, what other wonders await our discovery beneath the waves, or indeed, beneath the sands of time? Tell me where you're listening from and what other sunken cities you'd like to explore in the comments below. The implications of Thonis Heracleion's rediscovery ripple through multiple academic disciplines. For archaeology, it's a masterclass in challenging preconceived notions. Before its finding, many historians relied heavily on textual sources, particularly Greek ones, which often presented a biased or incomplete picture of the ancient world. Thonis Heracleion, a predominantly Egyptian city that integrated deeply with Greek culture, revealed a far more nuanced and interconnected Mediterranean than previously understood through Homeric tales and Herodotus's accounts alone. From the material record, the city's physical remains, its architecture, its artifacts, its urban plan, speak a language that transcends the biases of ancient authors, offering an unfiltered glimpse into daily life, religious practices, and economic realities. Beyond archaeology, Thonis Heracleion influences oceanography and geology. The mechanisms of its submersion are a fascinating case study in coastal geomorphology, and the long-term effects of tectonic shifts, sediment compaction, and potentially sea level rise. Understanding why this city sank offers crucial insights into the vulnerability of modern coastal megacities. As global climates shift and sea levels continue their relentless ascent, the fate of Thonis Heracleion serves as a poignant historical precedent, a warning etched in stone beneath the waves. It compels scientists to refine their models for predicting coastal erosion and flooding, making the study of ancient cataclysms profoundly relevant to contemporary urban planning and climate adaptation strategies. The very processes that swallowed Thonis Heracleon millennia ago are, in many ways, accelerating in our present day, making its story not just a historical curiosity, but a vital lesson for our future. For cultural historians and art historians, the discovery is equally transformative. The blending of Egyptian and Greek styles in the city's temples, statuary, and everyday objects provides invaluable data on Hellenistic syncretism. It's a tangible expression of a cultural melting pot, not just an abstract concept. The colossal statues of pharaohs, queens, and gods discovered alongside Greek sanctuaries, stelae written in both hieroglyphs and Greek, and artifacts showcasing a fusion of iconographies offer a Rosetta Stone of sorts for understanding the interaction of these two dominant cultures. This isn't just about trade, it's about the exchange of ideas, beliefs, and artistic sensibilities at the most profound levels. The art of Thonis Heracleon directly illustrates how new local traditions emerged from the interplay of global influences, a phenomenon that continues to shape our world today. The logistical challenges of excavating an underwater city are a saga in themselves, a triumph of human ingenuity and technological advancement. Unlike land excavations, where layers of dirt can be meticulously sieved and examined in daylight, underwater archaeology demands specialized equipment, highly trained divers, and meticulous planning to contend with currents, limited light, and the immense pressure of the deep. Each artifact brought to the surface requires careful desalination and conservation to prevent further degradation, a process that can take years. The sheer scale of the operation, coordinating teams of divers, conservators, engineers, and historians, is a testament to the collaborative spirit of modern scientific exploration. Frank Gaudio and his team didn't just find a city. They pioneered new methodologies for uncovering and preserving submerged heritage, setting a new standard for future underwater discoveries. Their work underscores that exploration today isn't solely about finding. It's about the rigorous, patient, and often unseen work of preserving the past for future generations. The very act of publicizing Thonis Heracleon's story also raises important ethical considerations regarding cultural heritage. Who owns these artifacts? How should they be displayed and interpreted? While the site lies within Egyptian territorial waters, its historical significance extends globally. The discovery sparks discussions about repatriation, international collaboration in archaeological research, and the delicate balance between scientific study, public engagement, and the spiritual or national significance of ancient sites. These questions are not unique to Thonis Heracleon, but are amplified by its stunning nature and its long period of concealment. It teaches us that the act of rediscovery carries with it profound responsibilities, not just to the artifacts themselves, but to the broader global community that shares an interest in humanity's collective past. Consider the economic implications and the impact on our understanding of ancient trade routes. Thonis Heracleon was not just a city, it was the primary maritime gateway to Egypt for over 1,000 years. All trade from the Greek world and beyond would have passed through its bustling docks. Imagine the sheer volume of goods, grains from the fertile Nile Delta, papyrus, linen, precious stones and metals from inner Africa, all flowing outwards, and wine, olive oil, timber, bronze, and luxury goods flowing inwards from the Aegean and Levant. The city's elaborate network of canals and docks, the administrative buildings for customs collection, the warehouses for storing goods, all speak to an incredibly sophisticated economic system. Its existence corroborates ancient texts that spoke of Egypt's immense wealth and its pivotal role in Mediterranean commerce. The discovery allows archaeologists to map these ancient trade networks with far greater precision, identifying the precise points of entry and exit, the types of ships used, and even the administrative structures that governed this vast exchange. It's not just a city that sank, it's an entire economic hub, a beating heart of ancient globalization whose silence has now given way to a chorus of new insights. The detailed forensic reconstruction of the city's demise is also a compelling narrative of scientific detective work. Geologists, seismologists, and archaeologists Collaborate to piece together the evidence. Did a sudden earthquake cause liquefaction of the soil, turning solid ground into quicksand? Or was it a more gradual process of subsidence, exacerbated by periodic floods and rising sea levels? The evidence points to a combination of factors, a perfect storm that illustrates the dynamic and often brutal power of natural forces. The city was built on unconsolidated silts and clays of the Nile Delta, a geologically unstable environment. Over centuries, the weight of the massive stone structures, combined with the underlying unstable soil and possibly triggered by seismic activity, led to a catastrophic collapse. Different parts of the city sank at different times and angles, suggesting a complex multi-stage process rather than a single cataclysmic event. This nuanced understanding of its demise is crucial as it moves beyond simple mythological explanations to a scientific one, providing a powerful case study for understanding liquefaction and subsidence in coastal delta regions worldwide. The human element of Thonis Heracleon's story is perhaps the most moving. Imagine the lives lived within its walls, the Egyptian priests performing sacred rituals in the grand temples, the Greek merchants haggling over prices in the bustling market squares, the sailors navigating the treacherous waters of the Nile estuary, the ordinary families going about their daily routines. Their voices are silent, but their physical possessions and the remnants of their homes and workplaces whisper stories across millennia. The discovery of gold coins, everyday pottery, personal adornments, and even children's toys paints a vivid picture of a vibrant, living city. Composed it. The sheer scale of loss when the city eventually succumbed to the sea must have been unfathomable. Entire generations' worth of memory and physical heritage were swallowed by the waves, leaving only fragmented oral histories and obscure references in distant lands. The psychological impact of such a disaster on the survivors and on the broader Egyptian psyche is also worth considering. A city of this magnitude was not just a collection of buildings, it was a symbol of power, prosperity, and divine favor. Its sudden and permanent disappearance would have been interpreted through a complex lens of religious belief and superstition. Did the gods abandon them? Were they being punished for some unknown transgression? These questions would have shaped the collective consciousness for generations, perhaps contributing to the city's eventual fade from collective memory into the realm of myth. The concept of a city sinking into the sea often carries a moralistic tone in ancient narratives, a punishment for hubris or impiety. While modern science offers geological explanations, the emotional and cognitive impact on those who witnessed or survived such an event would have been profound, casting a long shadow on their understanding of their world and their place within it. The very process of archaeological exploration, especially underwater, is a blend of scientific rigor and adventurous spirit. It evokes the thrill of exploration associated with legendary figures, yet grounded in precise methodology. Imagine the first glimpse through murky water of a colossal red granite statue, perfectly preserved yet strangely out of place on the seabed. Or the moment the divers identify the precise contours of a sunken temple, confirming literary references long dismissed as fanciful. These moments are not just academic breakthroughs. They are moments of profound human connection with a lost past. They are the realization of childhood dreams of discovering hidden worlds, but for a purpose far grander than mere treasure hunting, the reconstruction of human history. The dive teams, working under immense pressure and in technically challenging conditions, are pioneers in the purest sense, charting unknown territories not on land but beneath the waves, bringing light to the darkness of forgotten millennia. The site of Thonis Heracleon, with its incredibly preserved artifacts, offers new perspectives on ancient Egyptian religion and cult practices. The discovery of a large temple dedicated to Amun-Gareb, a unique syncretic deity combining the Egyptian god Amun with the attributes of Zeus, further highlights the blend of cultures. Ritual objects, votive offerings, and even the structure of the temple itself provide tangible evidence of how religious beliefs adapted and intertwined in this cosmopolitan setting. The sacred bark processions described by Egyptian priests, transporting divine images along canals, now have their physical stage and props uncovered. We can almost visualize these ancient rituals resonating with spiritual significance, making the abstract descriptions in papyrus texts leap into vibrant three-dimensional reality. The city acted as a bridge not just for goods, but for the sacred, where different pantheons met, mingled, and were reinterpreted. Furthermore, Thonis Heracleion challenges our understanding of the interface between land and sea in antiquity. We often think of ancient cities as purely terrestrial constructs, with ports as mere appendages. But Thonis Heracleion was intrinsically linked to its watery environment, functioning as a true amphibious city. Its network of canals, its location at the mouth of the Nile, and its role as a customs hub all point to a complex relationship with both river and sea. It was a liminal space, a threshold between the vast continent of Africa and the Mediterranean world, its very existence predicated on mastering the challenges and opportunities of a dynamic estuarine environment. This understanding prompts archaeologists to consider other ancient port cities with fresh eyes, recognizing that their relationship with water was often far more integrated and central to their identity than previously appreciated. The rediscovery also sparks a broader philosophical reflection on the nature of memory and forgetting, both individual and collective. How can an entire metropolis, a vital center of power and commerce, simply vanish from human memory for over a millennium? This phenomenon speaks to the fragility of historical transmission, the way natural catastrophes can sever connections to the past, and how subsequent political shifts and the rise of new centers of power can overshadow and ultimately erase even the most significant places. Thonis Heracleion's story is a profound reminder that history, as we know it, is not a complete record but a patchwork, full of lacuna and missing chapters. It highlights the selective nature of memory, influenced by contemporary narratives and power structures. Its return to consciousness is thus not just an archaeological event, but a powerful act of collective remembrance, pulling a forgotten thread back into the grand tapestry of human history. The sheer aesthetic wonder of the artifacts recovered is also a significant aspect of Thonis Heracleion's impact. Imagine the moment of seeing the serene face of a pharaoh, perfectly preserved after centuries underwater, its features still sharp, its expression timeless, or the intricate details of a bronze statuette, its surface patinated by the sea, but its craftsmanship still evident. These are not merely historical data points, they are works of art that transcend time and culture, speaking to the universal human impulse for beauty and expression. The exhibitions of Thonis Heracleion artifacts have captivated millions worldwide, not just academics, but the general public, proving the enduring appeal of ancient civilizations and the romance of discovery. These objects bridge the gap between the distant past and the immediate present, allowing us to connect with the artistic and spiritual sensibilities of people who lived millennia ago. Moreover, the exploration of Thonis Heracleion serves as an inspiration for future generations of scientists, archaeologists, and explorers. It demonstrates that there are still grand discoveries to be made, even in areas that have been extensively studied. It encourages young minds to pursue careers in STEM fields, to dream of unraveling mysteries, and to contribute to our ever-expanding understanding of the world. It's a compelling narrative of human curiosity and perseverance, and a powerful testament to the idea that some of the greatest adventures still lie ahead, waiting to be uncovered, particularly in the vast, unexplored depths of our oceans. The meticulous 3D mapping and digital reconstruction of the city are also groundbreaking achievements. In some cases, the team has been able to create virtual models of the city as it once stood, allowing researchers and the public to walk through its ancient streets and explore its temples, even though the physical structures lie submerged. This digital resurrection is a vital tool for analysis, comparison, and dissemination of knowledge. It enables scholars worldwide to study the site without needing to dive, and it allows millions of people to experience the marvel of Thonis Heracleion from anywhere in the world, fostering a deeper appreciation for cultural heritage. These digital twins of ancient sites are becoming increasingly important in an era of accessibility and remote collaboration, ensuring that the legacy of these discoveries reaches the widest possible audience. The site also illuminates the complex political landscape of late dynastic Egypt and the early Ptolemaic period. As Egypt's main port, Thonis Heracleion would have been a crucial strategic asset, controlling access to the Nile and thus to the agricultural heartland of Egypt. Its importance would have been keenly felt by both Egyptian pharaohs and later by the Hellenistic rulers. The discovery of various stelae, including the famous Great Decree of Sais, offers direct textual evidence of administrative decisions and religious decrees issued from this very city, providing a more localized and tangible context for these grand historical pronouncements. It reveals Thonis Heracleion not just as a trading post, but as a center of political power and religious authority, albeit one that eventually succumbed to the forces of nature, leaving behind a profound power vacuum that would be filled by the rise of Alexandria. The sheer depth of the archaeological layers and the long period of the city's habitation, from at least the 6th century BCE to its gradual decline in the 2nd century BCE, allow for a detailed micro-history of a single urban center. We can trace its growth, prosperity, adaptations, and eventual demise, offering invaluable data points for comparative urban studies. How did the city's layout evolve? How did its population change? What were the patterns of consumption and production over time? These are questions that Thonis Heracleion, with its incredibly preserved snapshot of several centuries, helps us answer, offering a longitudinal study of urbanism in antiquity that is rarely available to archaeologists working on terrestrial sites where subsequent occupations often obliterate earlier layers. Here, the soft embalming of the sea has preserved these layers, waiting for scientific resurrection. Finally, the narrative of Thonis Heracleion is a poignant reminder of the ebb and flow of human civilization. Cities rise and fall, empires crumble, and even the most monumental achievements can be swallowed by time and nature. But it's also a story of endurance, of the persistent human spirit to rebuild, to adapt, and to create. Even after its submersion, the memory, however faint, persisted in myths and scattered texts. Now, through dedicated scientific endeavor, that memory has been fully revived, allowing an ancient voice to speak once more, transcending the silence of millennia. It is a story that urges us to look beyond conventional narratives, to question the silences in our historical records, and to embrace the possibility that the greatest stories are often those that have been forgotten, waiting patiently beneath the surface to be told anew, reshaping our understanding of our shared human past and subtly influencing our perspective on the future. This journey into the depths of Thonis Heracleion is more than just an exploration of a lost city. It is an exploration of our own human story, our aspirations, our vulnerabilities, our relentless drive to build, and our equally profound capacity to forget. Yet, with every rediscovery, we are reminded that history is not a static object, but a living, breathing entity, constantly being reinterpreted and expanded. The waves that once swallowed Thonis Heracleion have now, ironically, preserved it, allowing it to emerge from the mists of legend to offer us an unparalleled window into an ancient world, a world where Egyptians and Greeks traded, worshipped, and lived their lives, forever bound by the mighty Nile and the boundless sea. The silent depths, it turns out, are not so silent after all. They hum with the echoes of ancient voices, waiting for us to truly listen. And in listening, we not only learn about Thonis Heracleion, but we learn a profound lesson about ourselves and the enduring human spirit that transcends even the greatest of catastrophes. And what a listen it has been, unraveling a tapestry woven with threads of myth, discovery, and painstaking archaeological precision. Thonis Heracleion challenges our very notions of historical certainty, pushing us to consider how much of our past might still lie hidden, patiently awaiting its moment to re-emerge. It asks us to confront the fragility of even the grandest human endeavors and the relentless, humbling power of natural forces. The sheer scale of its disappearance, the completeness of its embrace by the sea, is a testament to the fact that even the most bustling, vibrant centers of human activity can, given enough time and geological shifts, simply vanish, becoming nothing more than whispers in local folklore. But its reemergence, piecewise, object by object, structure by structure, is an even more powerful testament to the ingenuity and dedication of modern archaeology. It's a tale not just of finding a city, but of reconstructing a civilization from its fragments. Imagine the divers meticulously mapping the seabed, not with the intention of merely plundering treasure, but of understanding the spatial relationships, the social structures, the economic currents that once pulsed through these now submerged streets. Each amphora, each statue, each collapsed column is a word in a sentence, and together they are beginning to write an entire historical chapter previously unwritten. The meticulous identification of specific temples, like the Temple of Amun-Gareb, where pharaohs received their legitimacy, speaks volumes about the city's political and spiritual significance. These weren't just administrative buildings, they were power centers, places where the divine and the secular intertwined, shaping the destinies of nations. The discovery of the large ceremonial barges, designed not for transport but for ritual processions, paints a vivid picture of the city's religious life, a life deeply intertwined with the Nile and the sea. These weren't simply boats, they were floating altars, vessels for conveying the sacred, reflecting the profound reverence these cultures held for their deities and the natural world they believed these deities commanded. And then there's the evidence of daily life, the mundane objects that, in their rediscovery, become extraordinary. Coins minted in various periods tell us about trade routes, economic stability or instability, and the changing hands of power. Grieved within these now quiet walls, they offer a tangible connection to people who, despite living millennia ago, shared fundamental human experiences that resonate even today. The very name, Thonis Herakleion, a duality reflecting its Egyptian and Greek identities, is a lesson in cultural syncretism. It wasn't just a place where two cultures met. It was a place where they blended, influenced each other, and created something unique. The temples boasted both Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek statuary. The architecture displayed both pharaonic grandeur and Hellenistic elegance. This wasn't a clash of civilizations, it was a fusion, a thriving example of intercultural exchange at its peak. This fluidity, this open embrace of different traditions, presents a fascinating counterpoint to more isolated societies, offering insights into how diverse populations can coexist and prosper. It reminds us that trade, far from being just an economic activity, is a powerful conduit for the exchange of ideas, technologies, and artistic expressions. The harbor itself, once bustling, vibrant, and strategically vital, provides the clearest evidence of this cultural crossroads. Imagine the sights, sounds, and smells, the creak of wooden ships, the shouts of merchants in multiple languages, the scent of exotic spices and goods from across the Mediterranean. This was the gateway to Egypt, the tax collection point for all goods flowing into the pharaonic kingdom, and a crucial link in the vast trading networks of the ancient world. The intricate system of canals and basins, now perfectly preserved beneath the silty seafloor, speaks to an advanced understanding of engineering and maritime logistics. These weren't just docks. They were sophisticated infrastructure, the lifeblood of an ancient global economy. Understanding the layout of this harbor, the types of ships that frequented it, and the goods they carried, allows us to reconstruct patterns of trade that shaped the ancient world. The city's demise, while tragic for its inhabitants, has ironically become its greatest preserver. Unlike terrestrial ruins, which are often plundered for building materials, exposed to erosion by wind and rain, or damaged by subsequent human settlement, Thonis Herakleion was gently enveloped by the sea and sediment. This natural burial created an oxygen-poor, stable environment that protected organic materials far better than land-based sites. Wood, textiles, even food remains can survive in such conditions, offering an unparalleled level of detail about ancient daily life that is often lost in terrestrial archaeology. The very catastrophe that erased it from human memory for so long is also the reason we are able to study it in such pristine condition today. The ongoing work at Thonis Herakleion is a remarkable collaboration of international expertise, marrying cutting-edge underwater technology with traditional archaeological principles. Sonar mapping, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and even advanced digital modeling are employed alongside hands-on diving and careful excavation techniques. This synergy allows for a three-dimensional understanding of the site, revealing not just individual objects, but the city as an interconnected system. The painstaking process of lifting artifacts, desalinating them, and conserving them ensures that these precious remnants of the past can be studied and admired for generations to come. Each recovered piece is a testament to the immense effort required, transforming the deep-sea find into a publicly accessible window into antiquity. Beyond the academic insights, Thonis Heracleion holds a profound emotional resonance. It reminds us of the transience of human endeavors, the grand ambitions that are ultimately humbled by time and nature. But it also celebrates the enduring human spirit, the drive to create, to build, to connect, and to leave a mark. The rediscovery of this city is a narrative of hope, an affirmation that even what is utterly lost can, with perseverance and scientific rigor, be found again. It encourages us to look at the world with a sense of wonder, to understand that beneath the seemingly familiar surfaces of our planet, countless stories lie untold, waiting for the right moment and the right people to bring them to light. This ancient city, now revealed in its watery grave, compels us to reconsider our understanding of time itself. For millennia, it existed in a forgotten state, preserved in a kind of suspended animation. Its reemergence bridges vast epochs, connecting us directly to the beliefs, practices, and daily rhythms of a people long gone. It shrinks the perceived distance between the ancient world and our own, highlighting common threads of human experience across the ages. The awe we feel looking at these images, these retrieved artifacts, is a shared human response, an implicit recognition of our kinship with those who built and lived in this magnificent city. The story of Thonis Heracleion is also a cautionary tale, a powerful reminder of climate change and environmental shifts. While the exact causes of its subsidence are complex and likely involve a combination of factors, rising sea levels, geological fault lines, and the weight of the city itself on silty ground, it serves as a stark illustration of how vulnerable coastal cities have always been and continue to be to the fluctuating dynamics of our planet. It underscores that our relationship with the natural world is not one of dominance, but of constant negotiation and sometimes submission. The silent depths in this context speak not just of the past, but offer a prescient warning for the future. Ultimately, the revelation of Thonis Heracleion provides a rich new chapter in the grand narrative of human history. It enriches our understanding of ancient Egypt's late period, the Hellenistic age, and the intricate connections between these powerful civilizations. It reshapes maps of ancient trade and culture, adding depth and detail where before there were only sparse inferences. Every item brought to the surface, every hieroglyph deciphered, every architectural detail surveyed, contributes to an ever more vibrant, nuanced picture of a pivotal moment in antiquity. It is a gift from the deep, a testament to the power of human curiosity and ingenuity, inviting us to delve deeper, question further, and appreciate the immense, often hidden, tapestry of our collective heritage. The echoes of Thonis Heracleion continue to resonate, urging us to keep listening, for the ocean still holds countless secrets, and with every discovery, our understanding of who we are and how we came to be grows ever richer. The silent depths, indeed, are not so silent after all. They sing a symphony of the past waiting for ears willing to hear, and in listening, we participate in a dialogue across millennia. It's a dialogue that profoundly shapes our understanding not just of history, but of the very core of human existence.